Hi, my name's Therese Garcia, radio DJ, club DJ, co-founder of Mermaid Missions. I've always loved the ocean ever since I was a kid, and the older I got, the more polluted it became. I'd like to help change that. And with Mermaid Missions, we clean up our ocean one reef at a time with the help of fellow freedivers, scuba divers, and even non-swimmers who comb the beach. Join me as we feature everyday heroes saving our planet in their own little way. This is Community. Hey guys, it's me, Therese Garcia, and you're watching Community, where we feature individuals who are making a difference in their areas, whether it's through an organization, a small project, or even a business that's helping our environment in their own little way. Join us as they spill the tea on how it all works. Today with us is an award-winning social entrepreneur, Go Negosyo mentor, co-founder of the Circle Hostel, Make a Difference Travel, Courses and Market, and the Plastic Solutions, among others. Please welcome Mr. Raf Dionisio. Hi Raf, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi Therese, thank you. Excited to be here.
Now, I know you've got a lot of past projects under your belt, like the eco bricking and the building of the Circle Hostel in Zimbabwe using those eco bricks. But what I really would like to talk to you today about is your involvement with the Ipas in Zimbabwe and helping them plant a rainforest, which not only, of course, like helps our planet, but also gives them a source of income and a means of livelihood. So how did this start? Like, how did you meet them?
Well, it was, kind of random, to be honest. Like, what happened is that I heard that there were Itas in Zambales, and back then I was looking for two things. One, I was looking for purple yam, which was a business I tried to do a purple yam jams before, ube jam. Didn't fly, but anyway, that led me to the Itas. And the other thing was, I was also thinking about tours that could be beyond surfing in Zambales, because when we started Circle in Zambales, surf was pretty much it, then island hopping. So a cultural aspect would have been more interesting. And so I asked the tourism officer of our town to introduce me to the chieftains, and she did. And when I met the first guy I met was Chieftain Iking de San Juan, and he was the Indigenous Peoples Municipal Representative. So he was kind of like the head of all the chieftains in the town, and there were about 8 of them. And I asked him, "Can you take me to where you grew up?" And he obliged, and he took me on this 3.5-hour walk through their valley. And I remember being completely unprepared because I just had one bottle of water, slippers, and I did not expect the heat in Zambales. So when we got to the end, I was burning, and I ended up taking a nap under a mango tree.
Okay. Yeah. It must have been a hell of a hike. Now,
yeah, definitely.
It's actually amazing because I remember you posted on Facebook asking friends not to throw away fruit seeds because, and to save them instead so you could collect them and, have the tribe plant them. Can you tell us how that turned out?
Yeah, so the reason why I asked that, because on that first trek, you could really see that there was so much space, but there was hardly anything there. And that made it very hot, for one. And on the other side was that I was looking at the community and it's like, why are they don't have a lot of produce. It's such a waste to see all these seeds in my household and the households of friends and in restaurants get thrown away. And these are things that that these guys are asking for. And so it's our trash, but to them it's cash for the future. So I started collecting them. And then whenever we do tours, I just bring a couple of them in my pocket. And it's much easier to bring seeds than a seedling, because a seedling's like yay big, take a lot of space, and it's heavy. But at least seeds, I can put 100 in my pocket easily.
That's true. Actually, when I saw that post, I was like, wow, that's pretty smart and very helpful as well. Now, you started this in 2016. How much have they been able to produce and get back since then? Like, what items do they sell now, and where do they sell them?
Well, to be honest, in 2016, so the tour Tribes and Treks started with the Circle Hostel team and the Mad Travel team. And back then, we used tourism as the initial bridge because it would take a while to grow anything at the moment. So the tours were, I guess you could say, the incubator for the agri-business, right? And the tours would bring in roughly about 250,000 a year into the village.
Oh, wow.
On about 50 days a year. more or less, right? But I haven't been able to track I'm estimating that the products that they produce, and by the time we cut the tours pre in Feb before COVID, we were producing honey, bamboo straws, bamboo spoons and forks, papaya, calamansi, right, bananas. I would say they could easily have doubled that amount. Most of it probably going to the bamboo straws because it blew up at some point, right?
Yes, the
Yeah.
eco-friendly items.
Yup. And it is very encouraging to see that just because we kept talking about them, then they started to have access to a market, right? And today we're still very far from what we want, which is for them to have a 100-hectare food forest inside that
Wow.
3,000-hectare domain, which we have to rewild. We have a 1-hectare calamansi and soursop guyabano area that's growing in its second year. And then over the last 7 months, we've been able to work with them to plant about 10,000 seedlings. No? So they're still seedlings, still very small. A
Yeah.
lot of them are cashew. So looking forward to producing a lot of cashew nuts and maybe cashew milk.
That's exciting. Now,
Yeah.
I'm curious, is this how you became the former environmental and agricultural consultant to the province of Zambales?
Oh no. You know what? That was, I think the word is very fortuitous because I was speaking at an event in Subic about Zambales, and it just so happened that the city administrator the provincial administrator was there,
Okay.
and she was speaking right after me. So when I found out she was there, I was like, oh, I really have to get the message across, like love Zambales. No? And I think the irony was that because after she spoke and I spoke, we met up, and she said she found it very ironic that a person who's not from Zambales, because I grew up in Quezon City, said the
Okay.
person who's not from Zambales loves Zambales more than the other. She felt loves Zambales more than some other, homegrown people do, right? And she saw that, hey, you're really putting in effort. You don't have to, but you are.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, intensity, and of course, I was very lucky to learn from people who knew a lot about the environment and agriculture. Then they got me for a while, but this was, I think, 3 years ago. I'm no
Okay.
longer in that role today.
Okay, so back to your treks, talking about your treks earlier, you put up a company made called Make a Difference Travel. So basically, you guys do immersion tours, right? Is this only in Zambales? And what happens during these tours?
So it's so we when we started Make a Difference Travel, and my business partner here is Thomas Graham. We actually started working on tours out of Gawad Kalinga villages, which is where we met. And the whole point was to connect people, from different worlds together, and to help them find common ground. And to say that you can learn from each other. It's not, just normally it's the city that tells the countryside, hey, you have to learn from us because we're technologically advanced and stuff. But the countryside has a lot to offer, and and can teach us many things about gratitude, simplicity, and of course how to work with the land. No? So we would facilitate these trips. We called it social tourism, but very immersive. There's always an angle on environment and on business, and an angle on long-term sustainability. So we had trips in Bulacan, Bohol, Zambales, of course, Rizal, and Bataan in Subic. No? And each would have a different kind of activity. In Zambales, it was really restoring the forest. In Subic, where the forest was already built, right? Then it was more about working straight with them to find agriculture, how agriculture can connect with the forest naturally and in a sustainable way. In Bulacan, it was all about social business, etc. And there are a couple of other sites, but yeah, those were the main ones.
I saw the one in Zambales. The Itas would cook for the guests as well, and they teach them the dance or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, definitely, and that was a lot of fun because when we got there, one of the it was the elders who were teaching us how to dance, and what we noticed was that there hadn't been a reason to put on a dance for such a long time. So it was the first time some of the kids were learning how to dance as well.
No way. That's
So it's
nice.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's nothing like seeing your grandma enjoy a dance. So any grandchild
Definitely.
will respond to that very well.
Now, considering there were no tours as of the moment and travel was limited to non-existent in the beginning of the
Mm.
lockdown, now how has the pandemic affected the project and the livelihood of the Itas? I know, like most of our farmers have had to throw away their crops over the lockdown, right? Was
Mm,
it the
mm.
same for them as well?
Well, it's a little. It depends on the community you're talking about, right? And I'll give you two examples because not all farms and farmers are come from the same context, right? So, um, you mentioned people throwing away produce. So,
Yes.
one of the with the stop of tourism, of course, all our communities just lost that income. Sometimes it's one third their income, sometimes it's more. So definitely it's painful. Um, and for let's say for the one in Bataan in Subic, they do have produce, bananas, honey, and I know we were able to buy some of the honey from them, but their other produce I'm sure wilted away unfortunately because they had oversupply and they had not been able to really connect with the market in a way that was good. And of course, their old buyers, may have gone under or had a hard time getting to them. So there's that, no. So they that reality exists, no. On the opposite side in Zambales, they're a community that doesn't have much to harvest to begin with. They're still on what we call subsistence or day-to-day farming, so it's barely enough for them. So, um, yeah, that one it was a little different because it was very painful for them in the sense that they really lost a huge chunk of their day-to-day earnings, and so we had to find a way to work with them. So the Mad Travel team launched an initiative to feed farmers today to fund tomorrow's forest. So rather than donate to them, which many people are inclined to do these days, right? And we thought
Yes.
we'll hire them to plant seedlings, and that's how we got the 10,000 seedlings um, grown because we hired them to plant. Said, oh, you plant this, and we'll pay you per seedling grown, right? And then now it's time to plant them into the ground, right? And then hopefully we harvest something in a year or two, right?
Oh, that's great. So, what about for the existing products that they have? How can people purchase them?
Well, if people are interested in the existing products, we actually have a lot of them on our pivot, which is Make a Difference Market, so that you can check it out on madmarket.co. Right, a lot of the community products that we have access to are there, and we're continuously adding. So the market itself gets it's an online store, right? So we get from a variety of sources, direct to farms, um, from other farmers markets, and then from other small businesses as well. No, but we're mainly a direct to household company, so we'll deliver to you, and so it's really more about the variety rather than the quantity that we look into. No? Safe to
Okay.
say though, it's exciting because when the few direct farms that we work with, like you can really see it's exciting to see their produce move from the farm to someone's table, right? And it's a I guess it's a process, and it's a it's a new initiative that we have to kind of keep at and grow. Right?
Okay. So, aside from purchasing produce from this community, is there any way for us to help or get involved with your projects, or even just like be able to contribute on our own?
Oh, you know what? There are a lot, right? Because I hear a lot of people today unsatisfied with government, and I think that's the sentiment around the world. Really, like my friends in the US are like, "Oh, our government." So, um, you know, and so there's a call to like vote, right? But I would like to propose the idea that every day we vote with our peso, because whenever we spend something, it's voting the business with it's voting their value system. It's voting for this farmer or that farmer. It's voting for which country gets a chance to supply to you. Right? And I think we just really, a lot of the change really starts in our mind, and in our day to day life. Anything we consume is a vote for something. right? So we definitely have to be mindful of that. So buying local, or not necessarily just local, but buying from more mindful and fair brands counts for something. The other one is just looking at whatever waste you have and saying, hey, maybe someone else can be use of it. So you brought up the seeds earlier. Seeds
Yes.
are still useful. Just last Sunday, we brought in some secondhand laptops to a community that needed to go digital. And then I picked up some farm produce
Well,
on
that's
that same.
good.
So there's so many, there are a lot of things in the city that we have that we can give away, and it'll empower someone in the countryside.
Yeah, I
Mostly tech.
remember one time you were also collecting bottles, right, for the honey.
Yep. Yeah, I was. We realized that it's a bit difficult to what's that? To scale because of the
Okay.
supply.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the bottles today. I mean there are a lot of recyclers as well who can use the glass bottle since it's got a nice loop, right? Oh, and the other thing is if people are interested to volunteer their skills or talent, definitely interested to connect with people because there's a lot of work that has to be done in, let's say, communications or research, right? Or even just training, giving some tech training to community. So, yeah, there are a couple of ways to get involved. And if anyone wants to connect, please email me at raf@madtravel.org. That would, I'd love to start a conversation.
There you go. How about you share your social media as well so that they know how to reach you aside from the email and
Oh,
to know
yeah.
more about Mad activities?
True. So, right. So you can check our Instagram for Mad Market, which is Make a Difference Market, and then for Mad Travel, it's Mad Travel _PH for Instagram, no? And then the website is madmarket.co, and then for travel, it's madtravel.org, right? So yeah, just let us know. Oh, I just forgot to mention there was one other thing we did that we tried to be a little different. No? So a lot of the tours were highly experiential and educational, very immersive, as you said, right? So we've tried to pivot in a way so that we could still, this is a plan ways back now, but we've designed online courses so that students can still connect, can still understand the context on the ground, right? And then hopefully they'll come visit when things are a little more settled, I would say.
Yeah, that would be great.
So we're looking for schools and universities who are looking for online courses on social impact, entrepreneurship, innovation.
Okay, there you go. So make sure to support local and check out Mad Market online for fresh produce and other items to help our local farmers. Thank you again so much, Mr. Raf Dionisio. I really, really admire what you're doing, and I hope you get to start this project in more areas and that we Filipinos can help each other, when it comes to uplifting our kapwa Pinoys. My name is Therese T. Garcia. Please join me again next time where we'll get to know another everyday environmental hero here on the Community, streaming on Republicast.
Meet the people of the planet, the changemakers, the environmentalists, the Filipinos who choose to make a difference. Community, exclusively on Republicast FM 1.